Colby, you had your hand up.
I just wanted to let you guys know I was here and to make sure that however we're going to do this now, if you're going to switch over to me, that it's pretty seamless, so I'm not wasting anybody's time.
Yeah, what will happen, Colby, is when we get to that agenda item, I'll unmute you and so you can talk.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick reboot, see if I can get my video to get up and working.
There's Annette. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
Wonderful.
Good.
Ryan looks like he's mad. Unmute yourself, Ryan, or I can.
Nice screen capture there, Ryan.
And just so you know, we are live on YouTube right now.
Wonderful.
So Jason Spar, you just run it like a normal meeting. I'll put the agenda on it. Let's go through the items and then I will share the screen so everybody can see kind of the presentation. Colby may not have, the presenter may not have the ability to screen, so I might have to just do it for him.
Okay, how do we handle the pledge?
I will just point it to the flag behind me and go from there.
Okay. Do we have enough people? We ready to start?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I haven't heard. Well, Don should be coming back on.
Should we give them a minute?
Yeah, if you can.
Can you walk over here? I can't hear him. Unmute right there.
Can you hear us, Sam?
Unmute your speaker.
There's Don.
Okay, you there?
Yep.
Okay. Had to hop on my work computer.
Put on just a speaker.
Computer's not reading my video,
Okay.
my camera.
Hey, Jace, whenever you want to start.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is the April 14th Planning Commission meeting, and we are doing our first video teleconference style Planning Commission meeting. And let's see, Steve, you mind leading us in the pledge?
Sure. Everybody see that little flag?
Yep.
Okay. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
of the
for
United
which
States of
it
America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
with
for all.
liberty, justice for all.
Okay, that was a little interesting. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 1, which would be a declaration of conflicts. Do any commissioners have any conflicts they need to declare at this time?
No.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 2, which would be the approval of the February 25th, 2020 work session meeting minutes. Do anybody have any changes to note, or I will be looking for a motion if not.
Motion to approve the minutes of February 25th, 2020 work session meeting.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Okay, Torres second.
Who seconded it?
Torres.
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The work session meeting minutes are approved. Move on to agenda item 3, which is the approval of the March 10th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Do we have any changes to note? Doesn't sound like there is, so then I'll be looking for a motion for approval.
I'm making a motion to approve the March 10th, 2020 regular minute meetings.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. Now we'll move on to agenda item number 4, which would be to consider request for site plan and architectural approval for AutoZone located at approximately 3924 South Midland Drive. Steve, proponent?
I'm trying to get Colby, who is the applicant or representative of the applicant.
How can I use my AirPods?
Where'd he go? So he can present.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Colby, I made you a co-host so you can share the screen.
Okay. Hi, guys. How's everyone?
Oh, well, thank you,
Good.
Colby.
Good. So I'm Colby Anderson. I think I've met some of you a couple years ago on a different little project I was doing up there, but I'm representing AutoZone tonight. I'm with Anderson Wallen. We're the civil engineer, and then I handle all of AutoZone's projects here in Utah. Please, can you guys see my screen, a PDF?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I've just thrown together some of the exhibits that you saw in your packet just to kind of talk about this really quickly. Stop me or anything if anything happens or if you have any questions. But the site we're talking about is Lot 5 of the Roywell subdivision. This is on 4000 South in Midland. The Royland subdivision was just platted just recently. It's been ported. Right now, the AutoZone and a 7-Eleven are being planned in this subdivision, and that's all I'm aware of the 6 lots that's in there. So this first shot's just an aerial of kind of that proposed AutoZone location in this little subdivision on a Google Earth aerial. This is the plat, just so you know, Lot 5 is right here. There's a couple different accesses into here that kind of all the lots will share, one here off of Midland and one here off of 4000 South. The infrastructure, I think it's under construction now, but the shared infrastructure, including utility and some of the shared roadways and things are being installed. And then each lot developer or owner, I guess, tenant would be in charge of their own site improvements. So we're coordinating closely with the developer on that. This is the overall site plan, just so you're aware, if you haven't seen this, or if you have, just a reminder. So the auto zone is up here on 5. The 7-Eleven would be down here on the corner. That's being planned right now. I'm not sure if anything else is being planned on the other lots. We got lot 6 kind of tucked up here in the northeast corner behind the auto zone. So that's the overall site plan and how AutoZone fits in the subdivision. This right here is our zoomed in site plan, just showing typical AutoZone store. Plenty of parking out to the south side. And then the developer is installing some of the infrastructure, like I said, including the stormwater ponds, but then AutoZone will be in charge of developing the site, including landscaping all of those areas. They'll be graded and kind of that infrastructure and that storm drain put in place, but then AutoZone's kind of required to improve all that to its final improved conditions. We do have a pedestrian out to the side. Oops, sorry. Out to the side here, we're just gonna have a ramp down to the public sidewalk to get to meet that ADA requirement and to get pedestrian access from the public way up into the front sidewalks of the store. Trash enclosures in back. We're going to plan on putting the transformer in back if we can, but we're still working on that with the power company. This front door right here is an overhead door just for loading and unloading as they get trucks every now and again throughout the week. The trucks will park and then quickly unload or load and then head out, and that's what that area is there. Does anybody have any questions on this site plan before I move on? Okay.
That property that tucked back behind, is there an access to that property?
So let me go back to the overall site plan just because it's a little more clear because we rotated north arrow on that other plan. So are you talking about lots right here?
Yes.
Yeah, so lot 6 has an access easement that's been platted right through here. So to access lot 6, they'll roll by kind of the east side of AutoZone, this end of AutoZone.
Okay.
Get back that area when it's developed. Again, that's kind of the only one that they don't even have like a preliminary plan for. So I don't know if the developer has anything in mind for that one at the moment. Just kind of see who wants it and what they want it for in the future.
Okay.
But as part of the plat, there have been recorded easements for the utilities and for access back to lot 6 through there.
Okay, great.
And that easement that you just showed, that's the same area that they would be doing the deliveries and restocking the store through. Is that correct?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not used to this. Every time I click, instead of scroll and roll, it clicks to the next page. So yeah, so this is kind of the area right here. You see that there's plenty of room on the side for cars to get through there. If a truck happened to be there at the same time. A lot of their deliveries are late in the evening or early in the morning. So hopefully there's not a lot of conflict there ever. But again, they have more room to kind of get that truck and trailer out of the way, you know, if they need to get cars by there, if it happens to be at the same time. And again, those trucks aren't there for very long. They park there. You know, I've talked to AutoZone in the past on their operations. It's a 30-minute at most job. Those trucks, they do their business quick and they get out of there and on to the next one. So it's not like they're sitting, oops, again, there it goes. It's not like they're sitting there for very long and hours on the day. And again, they do AutoZone. They try to make sure that those trucks aren't there during business hours for the most part. They're very much evening and early morning hours. Okay, just really quickly provided the landscape plan here just so you guys can kind of see what it's going to look like. Again, AutoZone will be in charge of all the landscaping after the developer has done the grading and installed the ponds and the swells and everything. We've got a lot of rock mulch around some areas. In the bigger areas around the pond and some of these areas here, we've got some grass that we're going to propose. Rock mulch will be in the ponds, in the swell, and out in the landscape islands in the parking lot just for easier maintenance. I'm not aware of any code at the moment. I should have started with that. I think at the moment we're able to easily meet all codes and requirements of the city. So there's nothing that we're asking for that can't meet a code as far as I know at the moment with regard to landscaping of the site plan or anything. These are just some color elevations of what the building is going to look like. It's going to have a little bit of rock on it, a little bit of smooth face, block, you can see on the bottom there, and then EFS for the finishes on most of the exterior of the building. Other than that, a pretty nice building. I don't know if Steve had any comments on architectural components, but this is kind of what we've been proposing so far, and I think it meets the city requirements. So.
Okay, do we have any questions from
Sorry,
commissioners? Sorry about that.
No, I was just going to show you. Here's the color and materials sample board. If you're interested, just some neutral colors, the aluminum coping, and then what the stone's going to look like. And I think, yeah, that's all I had. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'd love to try and answer for you.
Okay, do any commissioners have any questions?
So I have a question. It might not actually be for the applicant. This is right down the street from O'Reilly's, and I think we have 3 other auto parts stores in town. Is that correct? Anybody know?
I know there's another AutoZone. Yes, you're right. The O'Reilly's is just to the south intersection.
And there's one out there on 1900 by IHC.
Okay.
So that's 4. I'm just wondering if we're going to get into that same. I'm sure it's all permitted. If we're going to get into that same thing with 500 car washes, we have several of those here in town.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know your city the best. I'll tell you that AutoZone and O'Reilly's, they follow each other. I mean, they're both very smart. You know, they're some of the bigger brand auto parts stores, and you'll often see them by each other. One will come and then the other will come. So
Okay.
It's not really the surprise, and they're aware of that and okay with that. I mean, that's just healthy competition. But I guess I
Right.
can't answer for the city on how you feel about more or less of these types of auto parts stores.
You've actually answered my question right there, so we're good.
Yep, they're aware of it. It's what they do. I mean, it's like McDonald's and Wendy's, or some of those ones. They keep an eye on each other and follow each other around a lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Steve, in his comments, I thought brought up a good point. On the back side of the building, there's no door or anything, but that's where you're going to have the dumpster. Is that something that they would potentially do, is put a door on that back side for that purpose?
This is we gave you the submitted plan. We've already added that door in there. Absolutely, we've fixed that up. It wasn't typical. It's not typical that we have access on 3 sides of the building. Most of these buildings have access on 2. So their typical building layout was what we threw in that plan to get our design and our layouts put together for submittal to the city. So that was just something that we had to kind of notice later that, yeah, that totally makes sense. We should add a door. So there'll be a man door back there right by the dumpster so they can get in there, in and out easily.
Okay, do we have any other questions from any commissioners? Doesn't sound like we do at the moment. So we'll turn this time over to Steve.
Hey, Colby, if you could unshare your screen,
There you go.
and then I will share mine.
There you go.
It all works.
We're all in this together. We're all learning this together.
Hey, can you guys see number 4 administrative item?
Yes,
Yes.
So as he mentioned, this is just on Midland Drive and 4000 South, part of the Roywell subdivision. Again, he's already kind of gone over all my slides, but just kind of a location of where it's at in relationship to the 4000 in Midland. Site-wise, again, I got 7-Eleven down there on the corner. Future development for lots 2, 3, 4, and 6. With lot 5 being for AutoZone. Here's kind of the AutoZone in relationship to everything, site plan wise, and then kind of zooming in again. He's kind of gone over all these things. So from a staff standpoint, you guys in my staff report have read or reviewed the items. Again, as Mr. Kelly had mentioned, the actual door on the north side to gain access isn't a code requirement. It was just a, hey, have you guys thought about this? But they will as Colby had mentioned, we'll amend that and put that door in. Otherwise, staff, we've already pretty much got what the things that we're concerned about on that aspect. From a planning standpoint, again, most of those things that are listed on there aren't things that are going to be difficult to correct and to finalize. So staff would recommend approval of both the site plan review and the architectural review with the conditions as stated in the staff report.
Okay, Steve, will this be two separate motions?
Yes, it will.
Steve, one question for you on the traffic issue. That's the only real issue I see there is with that potentially being a conflict if there are trucks during the day for that lot 6. Now we don't know what's going to be there, but if there does happen to be deliveries during times when people are going through there, do you see that as any type of an issue? I mean, they do have an easement, so they do have a guaranteed access, but that's the only thing I can see there. If there's cars trying to go past trucks, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in our ordinance that prohibits what they're wanting to do. Lot 6 is actually still zoned R3, so it can be a residential development. They didn't ask for that to be rezoned. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those, the owner of the knows what the AutoZone is requesting. Yes, it could be a conflict, but in most cases, you know, after a while, AutoZone will probably understand what conflicts occur in that area and maybe move the truck to take out some parking stalls rather than parking there on the side.
Yeah, and just to add to that really quickly, Steve, it's exactly that. I kind of showed it like the truck would be backing up from the south with their, you know, and taking up that whole shared drive aisle.
Looks like we froze.
I mean, I've talked to AutoZone and they do this often. They could pull right into their own drive aisle right in front of the store and drop their truck right there and not block the shared drive aisle at all. So they're completely comfortable with making that work in a couple of different ways to make it the best that it can be.
So I think the landowner has that ability to kind of move things around and ask AutoZone to move their truck. So I'm not concerned with it right now. I mean, again, it's an internal traffic issue.
It is also a ground lease, so it's not like the owner just goes away. I mean, the owner will still be heavily involved in kind of what's going on in the subdivision with his tenants.
Any other questions, commissioners?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Any comments from commissioners other than questions? Okay, sounds like there being none. We'll look for a motion. Remember, this will be two separate motions. First will be for the site plan review.
I'll make a motion that we approve the site plan for the AutoZone at 3924 South Midland Drive with the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Okay, we have a motion. We need a second.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote, Steve?
No,
No?
not on administrative items.
Administrative. All right, yeah, that's right. We don't have anything under legislative. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the site plan review is approved. You're looking for a motion on the architectural review now.
I make a motion that we approve the architectural review as stated on the agenda and with the conditions therein.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second. I'll second.
Okay, we've got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There being none, the motion passes.
Thanks
Hey,
so much,
thank-
everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the presentation and answering our questions very thoroughly. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good
luck
night.
with the project.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, commissioners, it's down to the agenda item number 5, which would be the commissioner's minute. Does anybody have any any issues they'd like to bring up at this time?
I have a question. The preschool, the Head Start preschool, they're building over by McDonald's off of 1900. Are you familiar with that building?
Ma'am?
Yes, okay. What are they planning to do with that asphalt for the kids to play in? I mean, it's a Head Start preschool. The children are marginalized and at a lower socioeconomic level anyway. It is a federally funded program. Do we know how much money they're gonna be able to spend? Are those kids gonna be safe? They're gonna be breathing in carbon monoxide all day. So I was just curious about where they're gonna be playing.
Well, the site plan, which the planning commission approved a few months ago, has the playground on the west side of the building. Right now, they've already got it fenced off.
Okay, I saw the fencing. I was
Past there
wondering.
is a fence where they're gonna have their playground.
Okay, great.
So,
Thank you.
Just so you know, Head Start right now is across the street behind Arby's. So it's not they're moving a ton
Oh,
where they currently
Okay.
are.
oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know right where it is.
All right, any other commissioners have anything?
No,
No? Okay, well, I think we had our first successful video teleconference, and I'd like to thank Steve for putting this together, and that
I
seemed like we
second
worked
that.
out. Seems like we worked out all the tech stuff so far. I was expecting more glitches than we've gotten tonight, so.
Very
The
well done.
Glitches only happened at the beginning when I apparently forgot to click to have you guys be able to have a video. Figure that out.
Yeah, we'll be better prepared for next time.
I hope we're done by that time.
Yes, I hope so too as well.
Who knows?
Okay, Steve, what about the staff update, our agenda item number 6? Do you have anything for us?
Not really. I mean, the city council still discussing the form-based code. I believe it's going to be on their next agenda next week. Development wise, 7-Eleven's getting pretty close to getting their pre-construction meeting, have everything in so they can start building. But if you go by there right now, they're just finishing putting in the water lines, sewer lines, and stuff that's underground. Across the street, south side of 4000 South, Midland Square Townhomes, they're just finishing up their underground stuff as well. They did have a glitch that they had to finalize. What the glitch was is the state this past legislative session, 2020, had a bill that made it if you had more than 50 units on a water line, you had to become your own water district. And originally when that was approved, it was going to be 70 some odd homes. They were a little concerned becoming a water district because it goes from their water line comes off of 4000 and loops to Midland, but it went private as soon as it went into the development. And then it all of a sudden go public again, and then private and then public. So we made an agreement with them that if they made the entire line public and put an easement, then we would be the water district like everybody else. So they are getting that finalized as we speak. And then they do have a building permit in for their first, which is going to be the fourplex, just kind of west or east of the wash factory there. Other projects, I think that's about it.
Awesome.
So unless
Okay.
there's other questions or concerns.
Yep, any commissioners have questions?
None.
no,
Nope.
Okay. Well, that being, sounds like we're finishing this up. So it looks like we'll need a motion to adjourn now.
So moved.
Okay, so moved. We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank
Who
you,
seconded
ladies
the
and gentlemen.
motion?
That was me, Steve Ryan.
You seconded?
I made the motion.
And I seconded it.
Okay. It's kind of hard to tell when you can't see your mouth moving very well. So,
Hey,
okay.
Steve, I do have one question for you.
Uh-huh.
I should have asked a little bit earlier. How do you want to deal with the signing of the minutes?
Just when you have a moment, we can get you in safely and just sign them. So,
Okay, great.
but I mean, they're approved, so I can put them on there online without your signature, and just when everything is cooled off, then we'll just have you sign it then.
Okay, great.
So,
Sounds good.
okay.
All right,
Thank you,
everybody. See
commissioners.
Thank
Hi.
you. Nice to see
Everybody
you.
be
Bye.
safe.
you,
Bye.
everybody.